Commercial painting is the easiest way to make $900 a day in 2026. In fact, I know this because I've already made over $1 million with the exact system I'm about to show you. And no, you don't need any prior experience to do this. So in this video, I'm going to show you my step-by-step system so you can easily start your own $6,300 a week commercial painting business. To start, I'm going to show you the first step you need to land your first client. I'm going to take you to one of my jobs that's currently in progress. So let's go take a ride. So when I first started my commercial painting business, I was working full time, making pretty good money. I was making, I think it topped out about $32 an hour when I left. I had the 401k. My whole goal was I kind of wanted to do my own thing. It was a great job. I was working 8 hours a day, but then most weeks, something would happen and I'd have to work 12 hours a day, or I'd have to work the weekends, and it was sort of like on call. But at the same time, I didn't have a choice. It was like, hey, we need extra people here, and so you're the guy. I didn't really enjoy that. That didn't interest me, and I knew there could be ways to make more money and easier. Started doing research, and I came to the conclusion that I wanted to start my own company. I really wanted something that was boring, that was going to be easy to do. And that's what I did. And so I started looking in my area, like, what kind of experience do I have that kind of would help me transfer over into running my own business and some of the skills I had. And I'm like, nothing was really lining up. And then I ended up talking to someone at my church, and he was running a construction company. I'm like, oh, okay. And he was kind of telling me how much money he was making. And I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. And he's like, he had a family, and I had a family too. So I was like, okay, well, he must be doing it for some reason. And, he proceeded to tell me how much time he had off and how he's able to do just extra things with his family, but yet still make money enough to survive and to pay his bills and all that. So I was like, man, this is cool. That's when I got into commercial painting. Basically, I just was driving around and I could see everywhere. I saw all the buildings everywhere, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be easy. So I started up basically that following week, and it was easy. I didn't even have any marketing costs. There was nothing. I didn't have to start with any capital. That was great about it. I right away, I went to it was this association group that was here in the city, and these groups happen all the time. Basically, it was like this facility management and property management. So where all these people that operate these buildings or manage them go to these events where other vendors come in and they sell products to these people. So they come into these events and they walk around and they see what new products are happening. So think of anything when there comes to their buildings, like the different types of software, any tools, any upgrades to the facility, like the plumbing or the electrical or the HVAC. And so it's a chance for all these vendors, contractors, to come in and set up booths. And then the property managers or facility managers walk around, and these are people that own or manage the buildings. They're able to see what the vendors have for that year. And so I went to one of those events and I met a few people. Really great. I started learning a lot about the industry. That's what really helped me. So that's what really got me going and really just getting out there. There was a period when I started out and I see this a lot, especially with beginners, how we just want to get everything right? So I went to the coffee shop, like, it must have been almost every day for weeks, trying to get my business plan figured out. I just wrote everything down, and I had this beautiful PDF of my whole plan, how I was going to go about it, how I was going to get my first job, and this, that, and the other. And it would just, the more time I got into it, the more I realized this isn't getting me any work. I didn't get any work until I actually started going out there and applying myself. That's when things really changed for me. That's when I landed my first job, because when I started out, I didn't have any experience. And the best part is I did it for free because there was zero marketing costs. The meeting I went to, I believe it was 15 or 20 bucks to get in, to walk around, to talk to different vendors, and then talk to people that were managing buildings. And I met a few people. I still talk to some of those people to this day. But in all actuality, it wasn't until I learned where they were all hanging out, specifically the people that manage these buildings, realized that I didn't have to pay for anything. And so when it came to starting out, really the biggest thing is that you can sit there and spend hours and hours trying to get this perfect business plan, or you can get out there and do it. Because I would definitely say like 20% of getting the perfect business plan, that's great. Get some, understand the market, understand what's going on, but then 80% also needs to be like getting out there, and that's what's going to make it happen. I didn't need any experience when I started. When I met the people at the Facility Management Association group, I met maybe 2 or 3 of them, and then I kind of found where they're all hanging out, which for me was easy because I was working, so I needed to find a way to find work. I didn't know how to cold call people. I had no clue how to do that. I had no clue like where all these business owners hanging out. Like, if I have a building right here, how do I walk in there and talk to them and say, hey, do you have any painting work? That just didn't seem logical to me at the time. So then that's when I figured out that they were hanging out all on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, basically is where they're all at because they go there to update where they work. They want to talk to their friends, so all their friends are there. And so it's like, oh, it's a perfect opportunity because I have a full-time job. I'm trying to start this. So I get on here online and, I start building my company that way. So this job that we're going to it's a smaller commercial job here at this strip mall. We're doing some doors. I got a price right now for $1,600. So we're actually going to be stripping down these doors and then resurfacing them and then matching the color that's on there. It's going to take us a day and a half of work. Last week, we're painting some interior walls for a little bit. Again, it was this little bit smaller job too. So that was $3,200. So that week I made $3,200, and this week I'm making $1,600. That's top line. And so, top line obviously is what you get right into your business account, and then that doesn't include all, your overhead and labor and materials and all that. So that's a pretty good week for me just to go right now. Like, I'm driving to this job. It's taken me about 20 minutes to drive to this job. I don't even need to go. I'm just going because I want to show you guys this job. It's a 2-day job. My guy will text me at the end of the day to give me updates. That's why I don't need to be there, especially for a smaller job that is like this where it's 2 doors. And I just simply got to go and check in. I mean, overall, most jobs, they're not all huge with commercial jobs. A lot of times you're doing smaller projects like this, especially when it comes to like shopping centers or malls or restaurants, is because that's all they need at the moment. But these jobs are continuous, meaning, yeah, it's 2 doors right now, but then next month, it's going to be 2 other doors on the other side of the mall, or it's going to be, we got to redo all the trim, or a lot of the parking bollards around the property, those get updated every year. So there's a lot of that too. We paint those yellow. So when it comes to starting your business, yeah, you can have the perfect business plan. You can spend a lot of time doing that, but you got to get out there and do it is 80%. But that comes from confidence, right? You got to get the confidence. In fact, one of the first bids I got on had opportunity to bid a commercial project, and I showed up, and I remember looking up at this building when I got out of my car, and I was just like, oh man, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this job. It was massive, and I didn't have the experience yet, and it was kind of embarrassing to walk away, but it also, at the same rate, it challenged me to figure out how I can get started on the smaller projects. And that's really when the confidence started helping me a lot starting out, was just doing small projects. And that's what's, you could zero these people in, especially in local areas, is the easiest way to do it. Just this repetitive task every week that you can do to find these smaller projects. Like, you think of mom and pop businesses is a great opportunity for that. Hair salons, restaurants that are moving or getting a new location, we can get in there and get small projects completed. And so I was able to really zero that in and start finding the smaller projects starting out to give me the confidence. And that's what helped me initially. And LinkedIn's a great tool for that, because that's where all these business people go. The owners of buildings, owners of these restaurants, hair salons, they go there. Why? Because their friends are there. It's a professional platform. They're updating, where their businesses are updating, things about their business. So it's a perfect opportunity, if you do that right, to get in there and talk to these people and help them with their painting projects. This particular project we're going to right now is we're going to be doing 4 doors. It's a $2,600 project for us to do 4 doors. I'm essentially going there right now because I just want to show you the project, but really I don't even have to go there. My guy's going to text me at the end of the day and give me an update on the job. So overall, like, I'm going to spend maybe 2 hours. I mean, if I would say that at most, not even. And so that's $2,600 for me to do. It's going to be less than an hour's work that I'm going to be doing on this project. One of the first projects I won, I remember, was a $3,000 project to paint some walls of an office. And, like, that was the first week that I made $900. And then I didn't even, I didn't have to do the work or anything. I just was me showing up and organizing things. And that was the first time I made $900. And I was like, this is great. But I mean, that was easy. It was like, right now, you can make more than that once you get going and get the confidence and start, getting jobs every week. It's $2,600 right now, this job we're going to. I don't even have to go. So less than an hour's work. So you'll be making way more than $900 a week. I know that's in the title, but you're going to be making more than that easily. Last week, we were painting some trim in an office, and that was $1,900. So last week's $1,900, this week's $2,600. Next week, I have this interior of a lobby for an office facility. We're painting these pillars, and we're also doing one accent wall for them. That's $5,700. And I'm going to be there less than, maybe at the top, like the most, 2 hours I'll be there. So that's been pretty great about running a commercial painting business. And then, just knowing, like, it did take me a while to get that confidence, but I was able to start with those smaller projects. And that's what really helped me. And that's why LinkedIn comes in, to where you can jump in there and start conversations with these people and get to know them. And in the spectrum of things, you can start and really shorten your time making money and make maybe a lot of it, if you want to try and get on crypto or AI agency or something, and you can probably make some money, but long term, is it going to withstand? Crypto, probably not, right? I've known a lot of guys that lost a lot of money in crypto. They maybe made some money initially, but they're not right now. The market's not doing well at all. And so, but I'm still out here painting. I'm still out here making money and supporting my family and making more than $900 a day. This week I made $2,600, that's top line. And so next week, again, another job. And so this business keeps going. Yes, I could look at it as it may be kind of boring of just painting some doors, but that's why I like it, because I can schedule these boring jobs in between my own schedule. And that's what I really love and enjoy about it. And so that's what my day looks like. I'm going to show you these doors, and then, I'm going to take the rest of the evening off. All right, so we just showed up to this job here. Went just at a little shopping center, as you can see behind me. And so that was one thing when I first started out with commercial painting, driving by, seeing all these buildings that needed painting. But I'm thinking, okay, do I walk into these businesses and start asking for work? And so that's why LinkedIn made it so possible to start getting work, because you can walk into these shops. We got a hair salon here. I think over here there's a gym, some restaurants. Right now, this job, we're working on this restaurant here. And you can't just walk in there and say, hey, do you need any painting work? Very unprofessional, and they're going to say no. And not only besides that, the shopping center is run by one person, a property manager. And so they're not going to be here. So that's not going to happen. But where they are is LinkedIn. And that's why it makes it so easy, where you can talk to people there and find jobs like this. And so right now, working on they're 4 doors total, doing some prep work right now. So we're just kind of cleaning things up, really faded down at the bottom. Then there's 2 other doors on the other side. And I think that was really what made commercial painting so easy for me starting out, being able to find everybody in a central location. Instead of struggling trying to go to each business, I could just go right where everyone is online, sit in my car and message people there. And, this mall, if you look at it, like, let me see if I can turn, yeah, it's a bigger size mall. So this would be a lot of talking to random people, hoping that some of them would tell me where the jobs are. Well, I don't have to worry about that. I can go to one area. But you got to get out there and do it and start getting the skills and the confidence. And that's what's great, where I can target in and find these smaller jobs, especially this is 2 more, basically the same 2 other doors. And I can target a job just like this, real easy, for free, and then be out there the next week painting it. Real simple project, and that's why I love this work. It's just simple, it's just boring. It's boring getting on LinkedIn and talking to people there, but it works. But I'd say probably the biggest part for me, especially starting out, was, when I first started, I told my friends and family, like, hey, I'm gonna start this commercial painting business. And they were like, you're gonna do what? You got a full-time job, you're doing great. You got your 401k, everything's great. Why would you, it's very foolish to do. Why would you do that? And they just really didn't understand. And so it wasn't until I actually found people that were basically like-minded, other business owners. That's what really helped me grow and start out when I got around those other groups. And so, I found a couple of groups that were actually business owners on LinkedIn, and then also commercial painting business owners on Reddit. And I was able to get on there. We got onto a Discord, and then we able to, hey, where is this problem at in our business? Where do we need help at? Or what struggles am I going with? What kind of bookkeeping do I need? That type of stuff. And so that really helped me. So that's my biggest thing is starting out was, make sure that you get around like-minded people, and they're going to really help things. It's going to just make everything easier and faster for you. It did for me. And once you start landing these jobs at the mall, especially like this, where every week you're doing 2 or 3 of them, and that really is going to help you get around them and help each other grow. But yeah, this is a pretty good week. We got 4 doors, $2,600. That's just, they're going to be here. We have to leave at 11:30. It's 9:30 right now. So we're going to sand these down real lightly, put a coat of stain on them, and we'll be back in the morning to put a clear coat on. And really overall, it's probably going to be about 6 hours of work. And then next week, we'll have a little bit bigger job, and I'll show you that too, but that'll be a little bit bigger one, so I'll make a little bit more money that week. But that's it. Now I'm gonna go home. I'm going to spend the rest of the day with my family, my son and my wife. This is great. This is what's great about running a commercial painting business, is that you can schedule the jobs however you want. A lot of times I'll schedule them. Some jobs I just like scheduling on the weekends because I know I have Monday and Tuesday off. I could take my wife out for dinner on Monday. The restaurant's not gonna be busy because everyone's out working.
If you're watching this thinking, I would love to learn to get commercial clients, then you don't want to miss this next video right here, where I break down exactly how I made $1.2 million in commercial painting and learn this. I hope it helps you.